The explosions shook the underground bunker like thunder. Dust fell from the ceiling as another blast hit somewhere above. Jinho checked his weapon one more time. He had 3 magazines left. Maybe enough, maybe not. "They're getting closer," Princess Hana said from behind him. Her voice was calm, but Jinho heard the fear underneath. She stood near the emergency transport pod, her hands gripping the edge of a metal table. "I know, Your Highness," Jinho replied. He moved to the blast door and pressed his ear against the cold metal. Footsteps, heavy ones. The Varathians were coming down the main corridor. He counted at least 20 of them from the sound. The year was 2287, and humanity was losing its last war. The Varathian Empire had swept across human space like a plague. Every colony, every outpost, every world had fallen. New Sol was supposed to be different. It was supposed to be safe, but the aliens had found them anyway. Jinho had served Princess Hana for 5 years. He remembered the day he took his oath, kneeling before her in the grand hall back on Earth. That hall was ash now. Earth itself was ash. Hana was the last of the royal family, the last symbol of human government. If she died, humanity would have nothing left to unite them. The blast door groaned. Something heavy slammed against it from the other side. "Jinho," Hana said quietly, "you should go with me. The pod has room for 2. He looked back at her and smiled. It was a sad smile. "Someone has to hold this door, Your Highness. Someone has to buy you time." "That's an order from your princess," Hana said, her voice breaking slightly. "Come with me." Jinho shook his head. "My first order was to protect you. That's what I'm doing." The door exploded inward with a flash of white light. The blast threw Jinho backward, but he rolled with it and came up firing. The first Varathian through the door took 3 rounds to its chest. The alien was 7 feet tall, covered in black armor that looked like insect shells. It screamed and fell. 2 more came through. Jinho shot one in the leg joint where the armor was thinner. It collapsed. The other one fired back, and Jinho felt something hot slice across his shoulder. Pain exploded through his arm, but he kept moving. He dove behind a support column and changed magazines. "Go!" he shouted at Hana. "Start the pod!" He heard her running behind him, heard the pod's engines beginning to hum. Good. She was listening. More Varathians poured through the broken door. Jinho counted 8, then 10, then stopped counting. He fired from behind the column, aiming for weak points, joints, eye slits, anywhere the armor didn't cover. His grandfather had taught him to hunt when he was a boy. Always aim for the weak spot. Every creature has one. A plasma bolt hit the column, melting the metal. Jinho rolled left and came up firing again. He hit one alien in the throat. It went down, gurgling. Another one rushed him with a blade weapon. Jinho sidestepped and kicked its knee backward. He heard something crack. The alien fell, and he shot it in the head. His weapon clicked empty. Last magazine. He slammed it home and kept firing. Something hit him in the back. Hard. He felt his ribs crack and tasted blood. He stumbled, but didn't fall. Can't fall. Not yet. He turned and saw a Varathian captain standing behind him. The alien was bigger than the others, with gold markings on its armor. "Weak human," the captain said in broken English. "You die now." Jinho spat blood at its feet. "Come try it." The captain charged. Jinho emptied his weapon into its chest, but the armor held. The alien's fist crashed into his face, and the world spun. He hit the ground hard. Blood filled his mouth, his vision blurred. But he heard the pod's engines getting louder. Hana was launching. She was safe. Jinho forced himself to his feet. The captain stood between him and the pod bay. Other Varathians were trying to reach the bay doors, trying to shoot down the escaping pod. He couldn't let them. With a scream, Jinho charged. He had no weapon, no armor, nothing but his body. He slammed into the nearest alien and grabbed its weapon. They fought for it, and Jinho bit down on the alien's hand. It screamed and let go. He turned the weapon and fired into the group trying to reach the pod bay. The pod launched. Through the bay window, Jinho saw it streak away into the dark sky. Safe. She was safe. Something stabbed into his side. He looked down and saw a blade sticking out of his stomach. The captain stood behind him, twisting the blade. "Stubborn insect," the captain hissed. Jinho grabbed the blade with his bare hands, cutting his palms open. He didn't care. He pulled himself forward along the blade until he was face to face with the captain. "We humans don't quit," he said in Korean, then headbutted the alien as hard as he could. The captain staggered back, pulling the blade free. Jinho fell to his knees. Blood pooled around him. His vision was going dark at the edges. More Varathians surrounded him. He counted 17 wounds on his body. 17 times they had hit him, shot him, cut him. He was still breathing, still conscious. "Broadcast this," the captain ordered the others. "Show all humans what happens to those who resist." Jinho laughed. Blood bubbled from his lips. "You can kill me," he said, "but you can't break us. Humans, we always come back." The captain raised its weapon to Jinho's head. Then the roof exploded. Not from Varathian weapons. Something else. Something bigger. Through the smoke and debris, Jinho saw shapes dropping down. They were huge, 9 feet tall at least, with 4 arms and armor that glowed with strange light. One of them landed directly in front of him. This one was bigger than the rest, wearing a crown of sharp metal. She looked down at Jinho with eyes like liquid silver. "This human fought alone against 20 warriors," the massive figure said in perfect English. Her voice was deep and commanding. "He shed his blood for one he serves. He refused to run even when death was certain." The Varathian captain started to protest, but the crowned figure moved faster than Jinho thought possible. She grabbed the captain by the throat and lifted him off the ground with one hand. "By the ancient law of Korvash, I claim this warrior," she declared. "He is mine now. Any who harm him will face the Kyrene Dominion's wrath." She looked down at Jinho again. He tried to speak, but couldn't. His body was failing. "Rest, small warrior," the figure said, and her voice was almost gentle. "You have earned that much?" Jinho's eyes closed. The last thing he heard was the Varathians screaming as the Kyrene warriors attacked them. Then everything went black. Jinho woke up screaming. His body jerked upward, and immediately strong hands pushed him back down. Not hands, too many of them. 4 arms held him gently but firmly against a soft surface. "Peace, warrior," a deep voice said. "Your wounds are healing. Do not damage the work we have done." His vision cleared slowly. He was lying in some kind of medical pod filled with blue liquid. The liquid didn't feel wet. It felt warm and somehow alive, like it was moving through his body. Above him stood a creature from nightmares. 9 feet tall, 4 arms, skin that looked like purple metal, and eyes that glowed silver. A Kyrene. He had heard stories about them but never seen one. "Where am I?" Jinho's voice came out rough and weak. "Aboard the Sovereign's Wrath," the Kyrene medic replied. "Flagship of Queen Vela's fleet. You have been unconscious for 3 days." 3 days. Jinho tried to sit up again, and this time the medic let him. The blue liquid drained away, and he looked down at his body. He should have been dead. 17 wounds. He remembered each one, but his skin was whole. Scars remained, silver lines across his chest and stomach, but the wounds were closed. "The princess," Jinho said urgently. "Princess Hannah, is she safe?" "The human female escaped," the medic confirmed. "Our scouts report her ship reached the resistance base in the outer rim. She lives." Relief flooded through Jinho. He had done it. She was safe. The door to the medical bay opened with a hiss. More Kyrene entered, and these were different. They wore armor that gleamed like starlight, and they carried weapons that hummed with power. Guards. Royal guards, Jinho realized. And behind them came the figure from his last memories. Queen Vela was even more impressive standing in full light. Her armor was silver and gold, fitted perfectly to her massive frame. Her face was sharp and beautiful in an alien way, with high cheekbones and a strong jaw. The crown on her head was made of living metal that seemed to move slowly, like water. "Leave us," she commanded. The guards and medic bowed and left immediately. The door closed, and Jinho was alone with the alien queen. She studied him for a long moment. Jinho felt like an insect under her gaze. "You fought well," Vela finally said. She moved closer, and despite himself, Jinho tensed. She noticed and smiled slightly. "I am not going to hurt you, Jinho of Earth. I saved your life." "Why?" Jinho asked bluntly. "Why would the Kyrene Dominion help a human?" "I did not do it for humanity," Vela said. She circled him slowly, looking at him from every angle. "I did it for you. Do you know what Corvash means?" Jinho shook his head. "It is an ancient law among my people. When a warrior demonstrates exceptional courage and skill, another warrior of higher rank may claim them. The claimed warrior must serve for 10 cycles in the claimer's personal guard. During this time, they are under the claimer's protection. No one may harm them." Jinho's blood went cold. "You're saying I'm your prisoner?" "Prisoner? No." Vela stopped in front of him. "You are my claimed warrior. My property, if you prefer that word. But also my responsibility. I invoked Corvash in front of the Varathians. By our law, you belong to me now." "I belong to no one," Jinho said, anger rising in his chest. "I serve Princess Hana. I serve humanity, not you." Vela's eyes flashed, but she didn't look angry. She looked pleased. "That fire, that defiance, that is why I claimed you. Most species would have begged for mercy. You stood and fought knowing you would die. You protected someone weaker than yourself. These are not common traits in the galaxy, Jinho of Earth." "I want to return to my people," Jinho said firmly. "That is not possible." Vela walked to a window that looked out into space. Stars streaked past as the ship traveled faster than light. "By invoking Corvash, I have tied my honor to you. If I release you now, I will be seen as weak. Other queens will challenge me. My enemies will strike. I cannot allow that." Jinho felt trapped. "So I'm stuck here." "For now, yes." Vela turned back to him. "But consider this, human. The Kyrene Dominion has 300 warships. We have conquered systems across the galaxy. We are neutral in your war with the Varathians. But if you serve me with honor, if you prove your worth to my people, I will deploy my fleets to aid your resistance." Jinho's mind raced. 300 warships. That could change everything. The human resistance had maybe 50 ships left, and most were damaged. With Kyrene support, they could actually fight back. "You would help humanity if I serve you?" Jinho asked carefully. "I would help because it suits my purposes," Vela corrected. "The Varathians grow too powerful. They need enemies. But yes, your service would convince my war council that humans are worth allying with. You would be proof that humans are strong despite their small size." It was blackmail, but it was also humanity's only chance. "I need to speak with Princess Hana," Jinho said. Vela smiled. "Already arranged. Come." She led him through the ship. Jinho tried not to stare, but everything was overwhelming. The corridors were huge, built for beings much larger than humans. Other Kyrene stopped and stared at him as he passed. He heard whispers in their language, words he didn't understand. None of them looked friendly. They reached a communications room. Vela gestured to a screen, and Jinho saw Princess Hana's face appear. She looked tired. There were dark circles under her eyes. But when she saw him, she smiled with relief. "Jinho! You're alive!" "Your Highness," Jinho bowed his head. "I'm sorry. I'm on a Kyrene ship. Queen Vela has claimed me under something called Corvash." Hana's smile faded. She looked past him to where Vela stood. I received your message, Queen Vela. You want Jinho to serve you in exchange for military support. Correct, Vela said simply. Hana was quiet for a long moment. Jinho could see the war behind her eyes. She was a princess. She had to think of her people before anything else. How long? Hana asked quietly. 10 cycles, Vela replied. 10 of your years. 10 years, Hana whispered. She looked at Jinho. That's a long time. I won't do it, Jinho said immediately. Your Highness, my place is with you, with our people. Jinho. Hana's voice was firm now, taking on the royal tone she used for official orders. As your princess and commander, I order you to accept Queen Vela's claim. Serve her with the same honor you showed me. Our people need those ships. They need that alliance. We need you to do this. Your Highness, please. That's an order, soldier, Hana said, and her voice cracked slightly. Do you understand? Jinho felt something break inside him. But he was a soldier. He followed orders. He stood straight and saluted. Yes, Your Highness, I understand. Good. Hana smiled, but tears ran down her cheeks. Make us proud, Jinho. Show them what humans are made of. The screen went black. Jinho stood there, staring at the empty screen. He felt Vela's presence behind him. I know this is difficult, the Queen said quietly, but you made the right choice. For your people. I didn't make a choice, Jinho said bitterly. I followed orders. Among the Kyrene, that is the highest honor, Vela said. To put duty above personal desire. You will fit well here, I think. She placed one of her large hands on his shoulder. It was surprisingly gentle. Come, I will show you to your quarters. Tomorrow your training begins. You must prove to my warriors that you deserve to stand among them. Jinho followed her out of the room. He was light years away from everything he knew. He was property of an alien queen. He would not see his home, his people, or his princess for 10 years. But he had bought humanity a chance. Sometimes that was enough. He hoped it was enough. The training arena was built for giants. Jinho stood in the center, feeling tiny. Around him, hundreds of Kyrene warriors watched from the viewing platforms. They were all waiting to see the human fail. Across from him stood a Kyrene warrior named Thal. He was 8 feet tall, covered in battle scars, and he looked at Jinho like something he scraped off his boot. This is the human, Thal said loudly, making sure everyone could hear. This is the warrior our queen claims is special? He is barely tall enough to reach my chest. Laughter echoed through the arena. Jinho ignored it. He had been on the ship for 2 weeks now. 2 weeks of stares, insults, and Kyrene warriors trying to intimidate him. He was used to it. Queen Vela sat in the royal box, watching. She had explained the rules simply. To earn his place in her guard, Jinho had to defeat 3 opponents in combat trials. They wouldn't try to kill him, but they wouldn't go easy either. If he lost, he would be sent to serve in the lower decks with the maintenance workers. If he won, the warriors would accept him. Begin, the arena master called. Thal charged immediately. He was fast for his size. His first punch would have taken Jinho's head off if it connected. But Jinho wasn't there anymore. He rolled under the punch and came up behind Thal. He kicked the back of the warrior's knee joint. Thal stumbled but didn't fall. He spun around, angry now. His 4 arms became a blur of punches. Jinho dodged and weaved. His grandfather's lessons came back to him. Don't try to match strength with strength. Be water. Flow around the rocks. Thal was strong, but he fought like most Kyrene. Direct, powerful, predictable. Jinho waited for his pattern, counted the rhythm of his attacks. 1, 2, 3, 4. After the 4th punch, there was always a slight pause as Thal reset his stance. Jinho waited for that pause. When it came, he struck. He hit Thal in the throat with his elbow, then swept his legs. The big warrior went down hard, Before Thal could recover, Jinho locked his arm around the warrior's neck in a chokehold. "Yield," Jinho said quietly. Thal struggled for a moment, then tapped the ground. Jinho released him immediately. The arena was silent. Then one warrior started clapping, then another. Soon the whole arena was filled with the sound of approval. Thal stood up, rubbing his neck. He looked at Jinho with new respect. "You fight like water," Thal said. "Like nothing I have seen before." "That's because you're used to fighting other Kyrene," Jinho replied. "I'm human. We fight different." Over the next month, Jinho fought and defeated 12 more opponents. He never used the same tactic twice. Against a fast opponent, he was patient. Against a strong opponent, he was mobile. Against an aggressive opponent, he was defensive. He adapted to each fight. The Kyrene warriors started calling him Kor Vesha, Small Storm. The name spread through the ship. But the training wasn't the hard part. The hard part was being alone. At night, in his quarters, Jinho thought about Earth, about Princess Hana. He wondered what she was doing, if she thought about him. He tried not to feel bitter about her order, but sometimes the anger crept in anyway. Queen Vela visited him often. At first, Jinho thought she was checking on her property, but slowly he realized she was actually interested in talking to him. She asked questions about human culture, human history, human ways of thinking. One evening, she came to his quarters with 2 cups of something that smelled sweet. "It is called Vesh," she explained, handing him a cup. "A drink we share after battles. It celebrates warriors who fought well." Jinho took the cup. The drink tasted like honey mixed with something spicy. It was actually good. "Why do you care so much about humans?" Jinho asked. "You could have any warrior in the galaxy. Why claim me?" Vela sat down. Even sitting, she was taller than Jinho standing. "Because you are different," she said. "I have watched 17 species fall to the Varathians. Most surrendered quickly, some fought bravely. But humans, you fight in ways that make no sense. You sacrifice yourselves for others. You keep fighting even when logic says you should quit. I want to understand why." "It's called loyalty," Jinho said. "We fight for each other, for people we love, for ideas we believe in." "We Kyrene fight for glory," Vela said, "for personal honor. The idea of dying for someone else is strange to us." "Is that why you saved me?" Jinho asked. "Because I was strange?" Vela smiled. It was the first real smile he had seen from her. "Perhaps. Or perhaps I saw something in you that reminded me of what we Kyrene have lost. We are strong, but we have forgotten what it means to care for something beyond ourselves." Their conversations became regular. Jinho taught her about Earth, about Korean history, about the concept of Jong, the deep emotional connection between people. Vela taught him about the Kyrene Dominion, about the hundreds of worlds they controlled, about their strict codes of honor. 3 months into his service, Jinho discovered something wrong. He was walking through the ship's lower levels when he overheard 2 Kyrene officers talking. They spoke quietly, but Jinho had been learning their language. "War Matron Kess will move soon," one said. "She has gathered enough support. The Queen's obsession with this human makes her look weak." "When will Kess challenge her?" the other asked. "Soon. And when Vela falls, we withdraw all support from the humans. Let them die fighting their war alone." Jinho's blood ran cold. He moved away quietly before they noticed him. His mind raced. There was a plot against Queen Vela. And if she fell, humanity would lose its only ally. He had to warn her. But if he did, he would be revealing that he understood Kyrene language. They didn't know he had been learning it in secret. That was his advantage. Jinho spent the next week investigating quietly. He followed the conspirators. He listened to their conversations. He learned that War Matron Kess commanded 1/3 of the fleet. She thought Vela was wasting resources on humans. She planned to challenge Vela to ritual combat in 2 weeks during the Festival of Blades. By Kyrene law, if a war matron challenged the queen, they had to fight to the death. Winner took the throne. 1 week before the festival, Jinho went to Vela's quarters. The guards tried to stop him, but Vela heard the commotion and came out. "Let him pass," she ordered. Jinho entered her quarters. They were surprisingly simple for a queen. No decorations, just weapons mounted on the walls and a large window showing the stars. "You look troubled, Jinho," Vela observed. "There's a plot against you," Jinho said without preamble. "War Matron Kess is planning to challenge you during the festival. She has support from 1/3 of your fleet. If you lose, they'll abandon the alliance with humanity." Vela's expression didn't change. "How do you know this?" "I've been learning your language," Jinho admitted. "I overheard the conspirators talking." "I see." Vela walked to the window. "You learned our language without telling anyone. That is clever, and dangerous if the wrong people knew." "Are you angry?" Jinho asked. "No." Vela turned back to him. "I am impressed, and I already knew about Kess. She has wanted my throne for years." "Then you have a plan." "I do." Vela smiled grimly. "By our law, if challenged to ritual combat, I cannot fight directly. I must choose a champion to fight for me. I was going to choose Thal. He is my best warrior." "But?" Jinho sensed there was more. "But Kess will not fight fairly. She will bring something designed to kill Kyrene champions. Something from the outer void. A war beast." Vela looked at Jinho intensely. "Thal would lose. But you, Jinho, you fight differently. You adapt. You find weaknesses. You might survive." "You want me to be your champion?" Jinho asked, shocked. "I am asking you," Vela said, "not ordering. If you refuse, I will choose Thal and accept my fate. But if you fight for me, if you win, you will have proven something important. You will have shown that humans can stand equal with any warrior in the galaxy." Jinho thought about Princess Hana, about the millions of humans fighting and dying in the war, about the alliance that would die if Vela fell. "I'll do it," he said. "I'll be your champion." Vela walked to him and placed her hands on his shoulders, all 4 of them. "Then prepare yourself, small storm. In 1 week you will face something no human has ever fought before, and the fate of 2 species will rest on your shoulders." Jinho looked up at the alien queen and nodded. He had faced death before. He would face it again, for humanity, for the alliance, and maybe, he realized, for the strange alien queen who had shown him unexpected kindness. The arena of ascension was 10 times larger than the training arena. It was carved into an asteroid, open to space on one side with only a force field keeping the air in. Thousands of Kyrene filled the viewing platforms. This wasn't just a challenge, it was an event. Jinho stood in the preparation chamber checking his equipment. Vela had given him the best armor the Kyrene had, specially sized for his human body. It was light but strong. He also carried a plasma blade and a projectile weapon, not much against what was coming. "You don't have to do this," Thal said. The big warrior had become something like a friend over the past months. "Let me fight instead. It is my duty." "No," Jinho said calmly. "Vela chose me. I won't let her down." "The war beast is designed to kill Kyrene," Thal insisted. "It knows our weaknesses, our fighting styles. But you? You are unknown. Maybe that is an advantage." "Maybe," Jinho agreed. He finished his checks. "Or maybe I'm just going to die in a very creative way." Thal laughed despite himself. "You have strange humor, human." The doors opened. It was time. Jinho walked into the arena. The crowd roared. Some cheered for him, most probably wanted to see him fail. Across the arena, War Matron Kess stood in her own entrance. She was even larger than Vela, covered in red armor marked with symbols of war. "Behold!" Kess shouted, her voice amplified across the arena. "Queen Vela sends a human to fight for her, a creature barely 5 feet tall. This is what she thinks of Kirene honor." More roars from the crowd, mixed reactions. Some thought it was an insult. Others seemed curious. Queen Vela stood in the royal box, her face unreadable. "My champion fights with my full confidence," she declared. "Let the combat begin." A massive gate opened on the far side of the arena. What came through made Jinho's blood freeze. The war beast was 12 feet tall and looked like someone had crossed a bear with a scorpion and made it out of metal. It had 6 legs, each ending in blades. Its tail had 3 spiked segments. Its head was all teeth and eyes, red eyes that locked onto Jinho immediately. "This creature has killed 30 Kirene champions," Kess announced proudly. "It was bioengineered specifically to hunt our kind. Let us see what it does to a human." The beast roared and charged. Jinho ran, not away, to the side. The beast's first strike destroyed the ground where he had been standing. Fast, too fast for something so big. Jinho rolled behind a pillar and assessed. The beast couldn't be killed by normal means. That much was obvious from the scars on its armor. It had fought many times before, but everything had a weakness. Everything. The beast charged the pillar. Jinho ran again, and this time he studied how it moved. 6 legs. That meant it needed all 6 for balance. The tail only struck after the legs planted. 3-second delay. Useful. The crowd was shouting. Jinho ignored them. He focused on the beast. It was fast but not agile. It charged in straight lines. It relied on power, not strategy. Just like most Kirene fought. That was its weakness. It was designed to fight Kirene. Strong, direct opponents. Not someone who would fight dirty. Jinho grabbed a piece of debris from the broken pillar. He threw it at the beast's face. The creature snapped at it with its teeth, destroying the debris in midair. Good. It reacted to thrown objects. Jinho started running along the arena wall. The beast followed, its legs thundering against the stone. He grabbed more debris as he ran, throwing piece after piece. The beast snapped at each one, getting more frustrated. Then Jinho saw what he needed, a crack in the arena floor where 2 sections joined. It was small, barely visible, but it was there. He ran for it, the beast right behind him. At the last second, Jinho jumped over the crack. The beast couldn't stop in time. 2 of its front legs crashed into the crack and stuck. The creature roared and tried to pull free. Jinho didn't waste time. He activated his plasma blade and struck at the exposed joint of the stuck leg. Once, twice. The blade cut through. The beast screamed and pulled its damaged leg free, but now it couldn't balance properly. Jinho had taken away one of its 6 legs. 5 legs left. Still dangerous, but he had proven it could be hurt. The beast was more cautious now. It circled him slowly, red eyes burning with anger. Jinho circled too, keeping his distance. He was breathing hard. The armor was heavy, and he was already tired. The tail struck without warning. Jinho dove, but not fast enough. One of the spikes caught his side, tearing through armor and flesh. Pain exploded through him. He hit the ground and rolled, barely avoiding the follow-up strike. Blood ran down his side. The crowd gasped. They could smell his blood even through the force field. Jinho forced himself up. The beast was coming again. He couldn't keep dodging forever. He needed to end this. He looked around desperately. The arena had weapons mounted on the walls. Traditional weapons for champions who lost their primary arms. He ran for the nearest wall. The beast followed. Jinho grabbed a long spear from its mount. It was too heavy for normal use, made for Kirene warriors, but he didn't need to throw it normally. The beast charged. Jinho planted the spear's base against the wall and held it at an angle. At the last second, he let go and rolled away. The beast couldn't stop. It impaled itself on the spear, the weapon driven deep into its chest by its own momentum. But it wasn't dead. It screamed and thrashed, breaking the spear. One of its legs caught Jinho and sent him flying across the arena. He hit the ground hard, felt bones crack, his vision blurred. The beast pulled itself toward him, leaving a trail of its own blood. Even dying, it wanted to kill. Jinho tried to stand. Couldn't. His legs wouldn't work. He had broken something important. The beast was 10 feet away, then 5. This was how it ended. He had almost won. Almost. No! Queen Vela's voice echoed across the arena. Suddenly she was there, landing between Jinho and the beast. She must have jumped from the royal box, breaking every rule of the challenge. She grabbed the dying beast by its head with all 4 arms and twisted. There was a horrible crack, and the beast went still. The arena exploded with shouts. Kess was screaming about broken laws. The crowd was in chaos. Vela didn't care. She turned to Jinho, and he saw something on her face he had never seen before. Fear. "You will not die," she said. Her hands moved over him, checking his wounds. "I will not allow it." "I think I already am," Jinho whispered. Blood filled his mouth. He could feel his body shutting down. Vela's eyes blazed with something desperate. "There is one way." An ancient ritual. Eshvar, the soul binding. "But Jinho, if I do this, you will be changed. Your DNA will merge with mine. You will live longer than humans should. You will carry part of me inside you forever." "Why?" Jinho asked. "Why would you do that for me?" Vela's face was close to his now. "Because somewhere in these months, you stopped being just my claimed warrior. You became something more. You made me feel things Kyrene are not supposed to feel. You made me care." "Is that love?" Jinho asked. His vision was going dark. "I do not know what humans call it," Vela admitted. "But I know I cannot let you die. Will you accept the bond?" Jinho thought of Princess Hana, of his duty to her. But she had ordered him to serve Vela. And in serving Vela, he had found something unexpected. Connection. Understanding. Maybe something deeper. "Do it," he whispered. Vela placed her hands on his chest. She began speaking in ancient Kyrene, words that made the air shimmer. Light poured from her hands into Jinho's body. It burned like fire and ice at the same time. He screamed. His DNA was rewriting itself. Human genes mixing with Kyrene ones, his bones strengthening, his blood changing. It felt like dying and being reborn. When it ended, Jinho gasped and sat up. The wounds were closing. His body was healing impossibly fast. He felt stronger, different, but still himself. Vela sat back, breathing hard. The ritual had taken something from her too, but she was smiling. "You live," she said simply. The arena was silent now. Every Kyrene stared at them in shock. What Vela had done was forbidden, ancient. It was the highest form of claiming. It meant Jinho was no longer just her warrior. He was her chosen consort, her equal, her bonded mate. War Matron Kess stepped forward, her face twisted with rage. "You have broken sacred laws, Vela. You have bonded with a human. This is my choice," Vela shouted, standing. "I am queen. I invoke the right of Eshvar. Jinho fought for me. He nearly died for me. He has earned this bond 1,000 times over." She looked around at all the watching Kyrene. "Who among you would have done the same? Who would have faced that beast for someone else's honor?" Silence. Then Thal stepped forward. He knelt. "I acknowledge the bond. The human has proven his worth." One by one, other warriors knelt, even some of Kess's supporters. The war matron stood alone, and finally even she had to bow. Vela helped Jinho to his feet. He stood, feeling the new strength in his body. He was changed. Forever. But as he looked at the alien queen who had saved his life, he didn't feel regret. "What happens now?" he asked. Vela smiled. Now you truly become mine. and I become yours. For better or worse small storm, our fates are bound together. Somewhere, light years away, Princess Hana was receiving the news. Jinho wondered what she would think. Would she understand? Would she forgive him? But for now, he stood in an arena full of aliens, bonded to their queen, changed forever. And somehow, that felt right. 3 months after the bonding, Jinho stood in the war room of the Sovereign's Wrath, surrounded by Kyrene generals. A holographic map of human space floated in the center, showing red markers everywhere the Varathians controlled. There was more red than blue. "The humans are losing," General Thex said bluntly. "Earth is fully occupied. Only 12 resistance bases remain. Give them another year, maybe 2, and humanity will be extinct." Jinho stared at the map, his enhanced eyes able to pick out every detail. The bonding had changed more than his body. He could see better, think faster, and his strength was now somewhere between human and Kyrene. But his mind was still human. His heart was still human. "Then we don't have time to waste," Jinho said. "We need to strike now." Several generals laughed. Jinho was used to it. Even after the bonding, many still saw him as an outsider. Queen Vela raised one hand, and the laughter stopped immediately. "What do you propose?" she asked. "The Varathians expect the resistance to keep running and hiding," Jinho explained. He moved through the hologram, highlighting several systems. "But what if we brought them a real fight? Your 300 warships combined with what's left of the human fleet, we could take back Earth itself." "That's suicide," Thex argued. "Earth is their primary fortress now. They have 1,000 ships in orbit." "They have 1,000 ships spread across 50 occupied systems," Jinho corrected. "They think they're safe because humans can't challenge them anymore, but they've never fought the Kyrene Dominion. They've never fought humans and Kyrene together." Vela studied the map thoughtfully. "You want to use our combined strengths, Kyrene firepower and human tactics." "Exactly," Jinho said. "The Varathians fight predictably. Big formations, overwhelming force. Humans have been fighting guerrilla wars for months. We know their patrol patterns, their weak points. We hit them where they don't expect, the way they don't expect." "And if we lose?" another general asked. "Then humanity dies anyway," Jinho said simply. "At least this way we go down fighting together." Vela looked around at her generals. "Vote. Who supports the humans' plan?" Slowly, hands raised. Not all of them, but enough. Thal raised his hand immediately. Several others followed. In the end, 2/3 of the War Council agreed. "It is decided," Vela declared. "We sail for Earth. Prepare the fleet." That night, Jinho stood alone on the observation deck. Below him, hundreds of Kyrene warships were gathering, preparing for the journey. He felt Vela's presence before she spoke. "Having second thoughts?" she asked, joining him at the window. "Always," Jinho admitted. "What if I'm wrong? What if this gets everyone killed?" Vela placed one of her hands over his. The touch was gentle, almost human. Over the months, she had learned to be careful with her strength around him, even though he was much stronger now. "You are the bravest being I have ever met," she said quietly. "Human or Kyrene or any other species. You face impossible odds and still fight. That is why I claimed you, why I bonded with you." "Is that the only reason?" Jinho asked. He looked up at her. Vela smiled, that rare, genuine smile he had learned to love. "No, I bonded with you because you made me understand what love means. Before you, I only knew honor and duty and conquest. You showed me something more." Jinho squeezed her hand. "My people have a word. Zhong. It means a connection between souls that goes beyond logic. I think that's what we have." "Zhong," Vela repeated, testing the word. "Yes, that is a good word for what I feel." They stood together in comfortable silence, watching the fleet assemble. Tomorrow they would sail for Earth, Tomorrow, the real war would begin. The journey took 2 weeks. When they dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system, Jinho felt his breath catch. There it was, his home, blue and green and covered in clouds. Beautiful even with Vorathian ships swarming around it like insects. "All ships, battle formation," Vela commanded. "Humans take point. Kirene provides support fire. We fight as one." The combined fleet moved forward. 50 damaged human ships and 300 Kirene warships. The Vorathians scrambled to respond, but they were caught off guard. They had never faced a coordinated assault like this. Jinho commanded from the bridge of a Kirene destroyer. Vela had given him the rank of war leader, equal to a Kirene general. Now he put human tactics to work with Kirene firepower. "Human ships, scatter formation," he ordered. "Make them split their forces. Kirene ships, wait for my signal, then hammer their command group." The battle unfolded exactly as he planned. The Vorathians tried to surround the smaller human ships, spreading their fleet thin. Then the Kirene warships struck like a hammer, punching through the center of their formation. Vorathian ships exploded in brilliant flashes of light. But the enemy had numbers. For every ship they destroyed, 2 more appeared. The battle lasted for 6 hours. Jinho lost count of how many tactical decisions he made, how many ships he directed, how many times he thought they were going to lose. Then Princess Hana's voice came over the communications channel. "All human forces, this is Princess Hana. I'm broadcasting from the surface. The Vorathian ground troops are pulling back to defend their ships. This is our chance. All resistance fighters, attack now." On Earth, millions of humans who had been hiding and surviving suddenly rose up. They hit Vorathian supply lines, communication centers, troop transports. The invasion from space became a war on 2 fronts. The Vorathians broke. Their admiral tried to retreat, but Kirene ships cut off the escape routes. By the end of the day, half the Vorathian fleet was destroyed. The rest surrendered or ran. Earth was free. Jinho's ship landed in Seoul, or what was left of it. The city was damaged but not destroyed. People were coming out of hiding, staring at the Kirene ships in wonder and fear. Princess Hana waited at the landing zone with her honor guard. She wore combat armor, dirty from fighting. She looked tired and older than Jinho remembered. But when she saw him step off the ship, she smiled. "Jinho," she said simply. They stood facing each other, and for a moment neither spoke. So much had changed. He wasn't the same soldier who had fought in that bunker. She wasn't the same princess he had protected. "You did it," Hana said finally. "You brought them. You saved us." "We saved us," Jinho corrected. "You kept the resistance alive. You never gave up." Hana looked past him to where Queen Vela was descending from the ship. The alien queen was massive compared to the humans around her, but she moved with grace and dignity. "Your Majesty," Hana said, bowing slightly. "Thank you for honoring our alliance. You have saved my people." "Your soldier saved them," Vela replied. "He convinced us. He led us. He fought for you even while bound to me." Hana looked at Jinho again, and he saw something sad in her eyes. "I heard about the bonding, the soul bond. That's permanent, isn't it?" "Yes," Jinho said quietly. "I'm sorry, Your Highness. I know I was supposed to serve you, but—" "Don't apologize," Hana interrupted. "You did exactly what I ordered. You served the Kirene with honor. You created an alliance that saved us all. You gave everything for humanity." She smiled sadly. "I release you from your oath to me, Jinho. You've earned that much." Jinho felt tears in his eyes. "Your Highness?" "Hana," she corrected gently. "Just Hana. We're not princess and soldier anymore. We're just 2 people who survived." They embraced, and Jinho felt her shaking slightly. When they pulled apart, she was crying too. "Be happy," Hana whispered. "With her. You deserve it." The next months were busy. The Kyrene helped humanity rebuild. The Varathian Empire, seeing what happened at Earth, began to fracture. Other species they had conquered saw hope and started their own rebellions. Within a year, the Varathian threat was broken. Jinho split his time between Earth and the Kyrene homeworld. He helped negotiate treaties, train combined military forces, and build bridges between species. He became a symbol of what cooperation could achieve. 3 years after Earth's liberation, Jinho stood in a garden on the Kyrene homeworld. Vela was beside him, watching their children play. They had 3 younglings, each a perfect blend of human and Kyrene features. Not quite either species, but something new, something beautiful. "Do you ever regret it?" Vela asked. "Bonding with me? Leaving your people?" Jinho watched his oldest daughter chase her brothers around a flowering tree. "I didn't leave my people. I gave them a future, and I found something I never expected." "What's that?" "A family," Jinho said. He took her hand. "A home. Love that crosses stars." Vela smiled and leaned down to kiss his forehead. "My small storm, my impossible human. You shed blood for your princess, but you gave your heart to a queen." "I gave my heart to you," Jinho corrected. "The queen part was just a bonus." She laughed, that full, wonderful laugh he loved. Later that evening, Jinho received a message. It was from Earth, from Hana. She was getting married to Minho, one of the resistance fighters who had fought alongside her through the war. The message included a picture of them together, both smiling. "I'm happy," the message said. "I hope you are too. Thank you for everything, Jinho. Thank you for being the hero we needed." Jinho showed the message to Vela. "She found her own happiness," he said. "As did you," Vela replied. That night, as he lay with his alien wife under strange stars, Jinho thought about the journey that had brought him here. From a soldier dying in a bunker to a war leader who changed the galaxy. From human to something more. From alone to surrounded by love. He had shed his blood for a princess and thought he would die for her. Instead, an alien queen had claimed him and taught him there were many kinds of love, many kinds of duty, many kinds of home. He whispered into the darkness, half to himself, half to whatever gods might be listening. "나는 피를 흘렸고 사랑을 찾았다." I shed blood and found love. Vela stirred beside him. "What does that mean?" "It means I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be," Jinho said. He smiled in the darkness. "It means we won." And in that moment, with his alien family sleeping around him and 2 species united because one human refused to quit, Jinho knew it was true. They had won, not just the war, something much more important. They had won the future.